What's up, y'all? You know what time it is. It's about to be that time.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to One Piece 1158. Okay, we're back from another break. And happy to be here. Happy to get back into more of this Rocks flashback that started as a Herald flashback that started as a Loki flashback. But it's fun. Shout out to DK, member for 32 months, said the era of dreams will never end. Michael Scott, circa 1459. Yeah. That turned into a Shaggy flashback, yeah. Alright. Let's pull this chapter up here. Well, good news, it looks like there's no break for next week. So the era of breaks is over. Okay. Chapter 1158, Rocks versus Herald. Once again, titles spoiling what happens in the chapters. Okay, we've got Kiku, Yamato, and what's her name? Leaving the grave of Kosuke Moria.
Surprise, motherfucker. Nan toいうビッグニュース.
You loyal.
Now, I don't think that that's like the Moria that we know. It's gotta be like Moria's dad or something. But, That's why he was in Wano, that's why he was talking about Wano, that's why he had Ryuma's corpse. That's why he was able to get into Wano, that's why he fought Kaido at Wano. Man, this is crazy. Very motivated, member for 51 months, said, I'm not here, but hi from Iceland. Back next week. That's great. Enjoy. I've never been. How are we feeling about Moria being a Kosuke? I'm just like trying to process this. Moria stocks rising drastically. Jesus. Jody List says, you may not like it, but this changes everything. Cross scale can pick up a poneglyph reader. I mean, would that mean that he actually can read the poneglyphs? I don't know if we have to go that far with it. Saying no, it is Moria. Timelight works for it being our Moria. It's gotta be an older relative. I said sorry to derail the stream cap, but please check your phone. What up, Savage Crew? Ty, this is just about the cover page. This isn't anything else, right? I will click on this. I don't want any spoilers for anything else. He sent me Jay's thing.
Chapter 1158. Rocks versus Herald. Here we go. What? Why? Why does that even need to be a thing? What does this do for the story? What does this do for us? What is the benefit of this information? What does this do? What does this actually do? Because there was no hints to this. This is giving retcon. What the hell is this? What? Wow. I need time. I need time to think about this because my first thought is this is stupid.
Wow. We first learned about Moria at the same time that we learned about Wano. If you don't include, if you don't like take into consideration Wanted and like that whole thing. I love how like I don't know. It's probably been like 10 minutes into the stream already, and I'm still only talking about the cover page. Look, I've always liked Moria. And I like what this does as long as this is like Moria's dad. Like if this is actually Moria, then I'm like, come on. But that would imply that Blackbeard would have the Kage no Mi. But the other thing would be like, where is Moria's body? Or was this erected when everybody thought that Moria died during Marineford, and this is a fake grave? But my big issue with this is, where was Moria during the Odin flashback? You know, other than that one clash that we saw with Kaido. Like, what was the purpose of withholding this information when Moria could have been a character through all of that? What was Moria doing when Orochi was, taking over the kingdom. But I actually, what I do like about this is if Moria fought Kaido for the purpose of protecting Wano, like protecting his homeland. Like, that's cool to me. Shamrock Figureland supered and said, "Hey, Randy, what's up?" So now it makes sense why Moria had those stitch marks on his throat. Also makes sense why his body structure changed, because Hogback made him a Frankenstein like Sindri. Maybe. Oh wow, Neon Roger pointed this out, that the symbols for Gecko and Koski are just reversed kanji? Is that true? Is that true? It's true, Oda hid it in plain sight. That's what the streets are saying. This is so crazy. Real question was, what was Odin doing while Moria was fighting Kaido? Yeah, I mean, that's just more ammunition for, my Odin in the mud agenda. Is there anybody in Wano though that like resembles Moria? Because Moria has such a unique look to him. I just went to go look at a figure of Moria. I'm just like, he's so strange looking compared to everybody else on Wano. Last chapter told us the grave has no body. Okay. Look at Perona and Toko. So we're saying Perona's from Wano also? Moria was raised in Ringo. He left to be a pirate. He was there at Roger's execution, so he went back to his homeland. Even Child Moria doesn't fit in. So is he like an adopted Koski? See, to me it would make more sense if he was a Kurazumi, you know? But this is so wild. Saeed said the past cover story said that the hero was born in the West Blue and raised in Ringo, fought Kaido to protect the village, and died without leaving a body behind. It's a group of Wano people that left 5 years before Moria was born. Imagine he's a Kurazumi adopted by a Kosuke. Moria also fought Kaido in Ringo. I mean, we always knew that there was going to be like more to Moria and Wano, because I'm pretty sure it was only like 1 or 2 panels that we got of that fight. But for him to be Kosuke Moria is just absurd in a good way. You know, like, it's interesting. But I want to know more. And the problem is that I'm not going to learn more. Because it's a cover story, and there's no dialogue to tell me anything else. But what would be nice is we come out of this flashback, we come out of this cover story, we don't go back immediately to Elbaf, we start doing a Dex of the World, we see that Moria has joined Cross Guild, and we get all of the information out there. And then we find out that, yeah, maybe he does know how to read the poneglyphs, and the Cross Guild is up, right? Because Blackbeard's got Pudding, Luffy's got Robin, Shanks has maybe something, but it's a good way to give the Cross Guild something, even though they don't have any rubbings or any poneglyphs to start with. Everyone loved the reveal except for Cole and Jay because of their agenda. What agenda are we talking about with Cole and Jay as far as Moria? They just hate Moria? That's not a good enough reason. If Moria shows up in the cover story, I'll be disappointed because I want him to join the Cross Guild. It's like, because the other thing too is that I'm pretty sure Blackbeard's crew is going to show up at Wano, because they're gonna like go after Pluton. So if Moria goes back to Wano, he just escaped Blackbeard, so he's just gonna run into Blackbeard again, which is it's a stutter step. Like, it's not advancing. It's just he went somewhere to just end up right back. I don't know. All right. We have spent a ton of time on this. Here lies the heroic pirate of justice. That's so wild to see that is Moria. But I also want to know, like, what does Moria have to do with Kiku and Yamato, though? Alright, moving on to the next page here. Okay, we're getting more Roger. In a certain stretch of sea, the Oro Jackson, Roger's ship. Hey, Captain Roger. They're saying Shaki opened her own bar on Pirate Island, and it's all the rage. We were so bummed out when she abdicated her emperor's throne. But now we know where to find her. Let's go check it out. Hey, remember that pirate island is under Rox's control. You know, really, I couldn't help but notice that Roger's mood soured right after you two had that conversation in the captain's cabin. Next page. What'd you talk about? It's nothing. I wasn't going to tell anybody about this, but I'll make a special exception for you, Roger. So this was when we fought the Kuja before she abdicated? I remember noticing that Shaki seemed to be ailing from some kind of illness. When I heard the news that she was giving up her position, I worried for her health. It turns out that ever since then, you've been sitting on this note she passed you. I know, it was too awkward to bring it up. It's clearly a love letter. How else should it be interpreted? And you say you're not tempted by this at all? I wouldn't say there's no temptation, I just don't want to be tied down, you know? Well, I do. Come and get me. Next page. Listen up, folks. I'm not admitting defeat yet. Oh, look out, Roger's feeling feisty again. Pillaging is a pirate's true calling. If you want something, you take it, ain't that right, boys? Talking about Shaki? That's right. Why would she be at Rox's Island of all places? Everyone should have an equal shot. Let's go and take her. I'm hungry, Marks. Feed me. Grub's already on. Eat all you want. Marks is the chef of the Whitebeard Pirates. Slightly earlier in time, the Holy Land, 40 years ago. Getting ahead of yourself, Garland. The previous tourney just ended. I know, but I was working on a separate matter, and I happened to moor my ship at this particular island. It's an unaffiliated nation, but its own unique culture. I recommend that they join the world government. Holy Knights, Figureland family, St. Garling, future elder. But I could not secure an agreement. The island is rich on resources and would be a great benefit to us. On top of that, I found something preposterous there. Discovery I never expected to make. The Great One will be quite pleased with it, I'm sure. Therefore, I strongly recommend God Valley for our next competition in 2 years' time. Doc should say slightly forward in time. Okay. Thanks, Saeed. Okay, Shaki's rip-off bar. We're over to Pirate Island. Hey, the line starts back there. It costs that much? I can't pay that. Step around back and do 2 years free labor. I came all the way from the North Blue. I hear you got great whiskey here. Everyone says your stew is the best, Shaki. Just making a killing. That's so sweet of them. How precious. She's pouring the whiskey with ice. These guys aren't real men. That taken neat. That's not. It's not even the proper level of savagery here. But I don't like the looks of you. I don't cook for the likes of you. It's just I always imagined this is the best. I've got an order of my special simmered beans for you, Shaki. We're all out of whiskey. Cheap rum will do. Here's your high-end whiskey. Drowned in ice! Ugh! High-end whiskey drowned in ice. been so thankful for abysmal service. What's the matter, Rox? You seem so fulfilled. If I didn't know any better, I might think you've lost interest in me. Big Mom's laughing. See, a woman's intuition can be scary. Hey, pipe down. It's supposed to be a secret from everyone. What are you talking about? You're so dense. It's not just a woman. That's the face of a new father. Okay, so Blackbeard has been, born. Are we going to see Miss Marshall? Hey, Shacky. Oh, Shacky. It's me, your lover boy. It's the Roger Pirates. Quick, get a picture. Oh, Raj. Roger, how many times do I have to tell you this is my island? Shacky's place, no fighting between customers, remember? So quit yapping, porcupine. It's fun. Alright. What about the huge line outside? Did you wait the whole time? How'd you get in here? Line? What line? Come on, boys, let's get a round of drinks. Can't stand the noise these people make. Closing out Newgate? Put it on Rox's tab. Oh, Roger, where's Ray? I told him to come with us, but he's resting on the ship. Said he wasn't feeling good. Oh, Roger. Darling, how I've missed you. You finally come to take me away on your ship? Ah, Gloriosa. I keep telling you no. I don't need a woman who throws hearts all over the place causing chaos. Shacky would be an exception, of course. What kind of logic is that? I'll pass too. Newgate around? I want to have a drink with him. He just left. Stupid Rayleigh, why didn't he come? Time to ship out Binks's brew. So is Rayleigh just sitting there singing Binks sake to himself? Shacky passed out. Shacky, let us tend to you. Get your grubby man paws off of her. By Shacky's own decree, any who visited her bar were forbidden from fighting on the island. So even when rival pirates crossed paths there, no warfare resulted. But at sea, it was a different story. Roger's really looking like Ace there. Next page. We cut to Elbaf. I had completely forgotten that the title of this chapter was Rox versus Harold, because Harold was not in the chapter at all. Alright, so we do have Rox and Harold fighting. I was hoping with the way that this thing ended, it was gonna show Rox and Roger fighting at sea, because they couldn't on land, but whatever. Okay, so we've got Rox and Harold going at it. How can you let the government get inside your head like that, Harold? Believe me, I wavered on this. Is this so important to you that you'd kill your own friend to make it happen? You're just falling into line. They're using you and you don't even realize it. Don't you see? This is their answer. They only see your kind as a military force to be harnessed. They'll turn you into slaves and call you soldiers. Where's your warrior's pride gone? What does your own free will say? Don't act like you understand any of that. Our history of violence, from when we called ourselves warriors, is nothing but a shackle that weighs Elbaf down. Think you're a good man, Harold. We've been raided by giants in the past. Fear is not easily wiped clean from the nation's mind, I'm sorry. Listen, Rox, no matter how foolish and impetuous the celestial dragons may be, they have the power to usher Elbaf into the circle of the world. No longer will we be on the outside. Stop it, you soft coward. Wow, that's a crazy hit. Okay. The talks are off. I'm never inviting you again. I am the king. I can't risk my people's lives on the losing battle of a villain like you. They could not see eye to eye. The odd little friendship between them came to an end, and for the time being, they met no longer, until the day of that fateful incident. More news about Rox. Rox isn't coming, Loki. Shut up, you old hag. Want me to pour you some juice? Yeah! West Blue. 39 years ago. God Valley. Aw, it's twin boys. So adorable. They've got your red hair. Yes, they do. I only hope they turn out as wise as you two. Without their father around, we'll have to help with that. Thank you, sir. What are their names? Shanks and Shamrock. So, you can see that Figureland returned from God Valley 40 years ago. And then when we go to 39 years ago, roughly a year later, perhaps maybe even 9 months later, this woman is pushing twins. Confirmation that they both have red hair. This is our first image of Shanks and Shamrock's mom from behind. Oh, we know what Garling was up to when he was in God Valley. We got confirmation that Blackbeard has been born. It means he's probably slightly older than Shanks. I forget what Blackbeard's birthday is, but that probably times out. Shanks' birthday is in March. It's March 9th or something, so probably somewhere in March, maybe April, maybe May. I don't think we had a confirmation which month God Valley actually happened, but it's probably gonna be some more God Valley stuff next week. I'm disappointed that we didn't see Rox's wife, or, you know, Blackbeard's mom. I guess we probably won't get that until we get like an official Blackbeard flashback. Otis holding it. Rayleigh is kind of wild for everything that he's doing. I'd say the Herald stuff in this chapter was like the least interesting part of the chapter. The craziest thing was the cover story. Like that, I'm still on this Moria stuff. All this stuff at Pirate Island was fun. Getting into some Garland stuff. Garland stuff is cool. I feel like the next chapter is the lead into the God Valley flashback. I feel like there's like an ulterior motive here to this scene with Garling trying to get God Valley to join the world government. It's probably because, like, of his status, he was not supposed to have children with an unaffiliated person, so he's like, he's got to get God Valley affiliated so that his children can be, like, considered legitimate.
Savage.
You loyal.
Discovery I never expected to make. That's going to be a huge reveal when we get into the God Valley stuff for sure. Oda's hiding that for a reason. Jedman supered and said, some context for you, Gecko Moria's first name can be written as Koski backwards. Yeah, someone brought that up earlier, and I was like, is that real? And turns out it is, which is so crazy. Which also feels like, you know, it's just a pun in itself from Oda to go ahead and do that. Reddit52, member for 31 months, said, Randy, do you think we'll get God Valley in full? I don't see the purpose of hiding it at this point. The Straw Hats are about to fight Emu. I feel like we're at the we're at the end game. To go this far and do another stutter step when we're about to face the 800-year-old creature from the world government, like, we might as well understand in full everything that's been going on with the government. Oda may choose to purposefully hide some things about Blackbeard, maybe? But I don't see what we gain from not having God Valley in full at this point. Like, I understood all the stutter steps earlier where, you know, we would get little teases and whatnot, but I do feel like we're at the point of the story where it's played out now. Spartan Gibble said, Garling says that he found something there. What if it was Uranus? You have to destroy God Valley to get it, like bringing down Wano's walls to get Pluton. Interesting. I mean, if the whole fight was over an ancient weapon, then I feel like now we have the stakes that are worthy of the emphasis that this incident has on the story. Brandon said, Randy, do you think Moria as a Koski can read the poneglyphs? I think for my purposes of my own agenda, that Moria, like many of the Shichibukai, will join Cross Guild, it allows the Cross Guild to have a leg up. Now, I don't like having so many people that can read it because it neuters Robin, right? But I don't know. It makes Moria cool. And it also like emphasizes why why Oda felt it was important to reintroduce Moria during the act break in Wano. It could explain why Blackbeard wanted Moria to join his crew. It would explain why Blackbeard didn't kill Moria and just take his fruit, but instead locked him in a cage. That was a big question during all of the, GARP stuff and everything like that, finding out that Blackbeard deliberately kept Moria alive so that they could get him out. It's like, well, he killed Absalom. Why would he keep Moria alive? If he knows how to read the poneglyphs, and then was like forcing him to join his crew and, read the poneglyphs for him, and then he was like, no, then he's getting tortured in a cage somewhere, now he's escaped. Then teams up with all of the warlords. I like that. Crush said, Randy, 39 years ago, Roger goes to Lodestar. I think they show that? Or is that another story for another time? If they show it, probably less likely that we'll go. Because you may not need to go to Lodestar. You might just need all of the road poneglyphs, and then you'll get there. Depends. I mean, we've already seen a little bit of Lodestar from the the Roger parts of the Odin flashback, but if we really spent if we get a full double page spread of what Lodestar looks like and everything, and see Roger exploring it and finding some stuff out, that could be a fun next chapter. But yeah, if that happened, I wouldn't expect Oda to have the Straw Hats go, because we'll have seen it. The double page spread isn't going to be as elaborate once Straw Hats explore it for the first time. Because I think that Oda would want to really show off Lodestar as the Straw Hats are exploring it. Anytime we see a giant spread of an island or something, it's usually the Straw Hats are, they've arrived. We're seeing it from their perspective. If we see something outside of that, generally it's an island that we're probably not going to go to. So, we'll see it. I think we've seen spreads of God Valley. The island doesn't exist anymore. The Straw Hats can't go there. So that's why we'll get all of that. Ohad said, hey, Prophet Randy. I haven't been here in a long time. Hope you're doing good. Really interested in what your thoughts are about Oda's choice to focus on love interests in this crucial flashback. Well, he doesn't really spend a lot of time on it in the present, because it feels like it will drag the story down and muddy things. But in the past, anything sort of goes, and it's more so to inform the present. a lot of the characters that we're seeing in this flashback are parents or father figures of characters in the present. So it's like naturally these things occurred, but it is interesting that so much of it is focused on that. They had said we know Moria escaped with Perona in chapter 1126. Yeah, which is why I've been saying since then, and before really, that Moria would be going with Perona to the Cross Guild, because Perona would naturally be like, hey, I was just hanging out with Mihawk for 2 years. He can protect us. Let's go to him. Jody listed, how did Shanks have access to healing water from his homeland in the West Blue if God Valley no longer exists? That's a good point. That's what he says when he shows up to Whitebeard, right? Chapter 430 something. Pulls up to Whitebeard. He's got a big jug. He says it's from his homeland. So it means that could be part of the resources that Garland is interested in, and then they've mined that and brought it all to the Holy Land. What it would say more than anything is that Shanks frequents the Holy Land, which was also kind of implied in that Scopper flashback that we got with Shanks. Brandon said, what if Wano thought Moria died when he actually escaped, so they gave him Koski as an honorary title? I don't think they would do it as an honorary title. I think he is in some way a legitimate Koski, but, you know, maybe not by birth. Like, he had to have, like, grown up with some Koski, but then it's like, where are the other Koski? Where were they in the flashback? Because the implication was that, like, it's Sukiyaki, and it was Odin, and then that was it. The Royals are the Koski. You have Toki, you have Momonosuke, Hiyori. There are other Koski? I guess it would make sense, but I just wish that was established a little bit earlier. Tibet King said, Moria being from Wano does add credence to Otoko and Purono being related. Same hair color, eyes being the same, but flipped. One ate a fruit that forces her to smile, the other a negative fruit. I mean, that's fun. Oh, potentially the hollow fruit being the cure for the smile ailment. Wow. That I could see. I could see Perona going to Wano and then using her fruit, and then finally all of the people that have been messed with the smiles are able to frown. Oh. I mean, it would be temporary. But, like, imagine the relief that they would have just for that small moment being able to emote negatively. Ian Vargas, I'm curious what you get thought of the preposterous thing Garland was talking about. Poneglyphs, ancient weapons, Shanks and Shamrock's birth. Well, I liked what was brought up earlier, that God Valley could potentially have an ancient weapon, and that feels right to me because it's what the story is building towards. So if it actually was a place that held an ancient weapon, then a fight of this magnitude that had so much emphasis across the series, that has been teased for hundreds of chapters at this point, then it makes sense, especially as you're going to tell us what's going on while we're about to fight Emu, who has an interest in ancient weapons. Saeed said, Shanks tells Whitebeard in 434, I've sailed all over the seas, but nothing beats the liquor brewed from the water that seeped into my skin. It's the sake from my hometown. Please drink it. I mean, it's either that the God Valley sake is still brewed in the Holy Land, or Shanks was raised somewhere other than that. I don't know. We'll need an explanation. Yeah, Booze Keeps. He could have tracked down some of the surviving sake for sure. I don't know. Maybe that's the simplest explanation. He just went to somewhere else in the West Blue, and somebody was like, "I've got this God Valley sake. I've been keeping it, saving it special." Descended and roasted. He said homeland rather than birthplace. It leaves some room for the sentiment that home is where the heart is, and they just meant where he grew up, which is a recurring theme in One Piece. You know, that home is wherever you want it to be. Your family is, you know, you can choose your family. Just catching up on the chat here. Really playing hard to get. Too hard. Cone Killer said, "Yeah, I'm convinced Homeland means where he laid low when after Roger was killed." Yeah, that's what makes sense to me too. Brandon King said, "Any chance Shamrock comes into possession of a fake poneglyph? A sham rock." Crazy pun. I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. I don't know if we can find. I don't know if there can be a fake poneglyph. I mean, it could be interesting, but I also feel like the location poneglyphs, like the 19 or whatever poneglyphs that just point to other poneglyphs, those are fake poneglyphs to me. Santa wants to know about the poneglyph in Impel Down. I'm not entirely sure that that's actually a poneglyph. I don't know about that one. Volkazard said, "I'm just happy this chapter hard confirms Shaki is not Blackbeard's mom. Would have not been fond of that one." People were thinking that. I feel like people were bringing that up last time, but I was never really a fan of that. The last chapter really let on that Shaki's gonna get kidnapped, though, so I feel like that's gonna happen next chapter. It's like, who would at this point? Okay. So, Crushnot sent me a timeline of Moria events. 59 years ago, Odin and Kaido were born, so they are the exact same age. I do know that Kaido was I think he's the oldest warlord out of the bunch, like out of the original ones. And I remember him being, even as a child, old enough to have been part of God Valley or something. 55 years ago, Kozaburo and 24 other residents of Wano leave the country. 52 years ago, Kozaburo and 10 of his followers found a village in East Blue, Shimotsuki. Oh, wait. For some reason, I read that earlier, and I thought it was Odin and Moria were born the same year. But that is interesting that Odin and Kaido were born the same year. So there's a 9-year difference there. So what this is trying to say is that Moria could have been born, like, from the Shimotsuki clan that left, went to the East Blue, but maybe some of them went to the West Blue. Yeah, I got confused too. Got it here. So 59 years ago, Odin and Kaido. 50 years ago, Moria was born. 47 years ago, Hogback's born. Whatever. 39 years ago, Odin becomes daimyo of Kuri. So he became the daimyo right before God Valley. Okay. But we know he didn't participate in it anyway. But 38 years ago, God Valley. 36 years ago, Absalom. Whatever. I don't really... Moria's crew, when they were born, it's not that. 30 years ago, Odin sails with Whitebeard. 28 years ago, Higurashi approaches Kaido about Wano. 26 years ago, Odin returns briefly to Wano and factories are already present, suggesting Kaido's been there a while. 26 years ago, Odin sails with Roger. 26 years ago, Orochi takes over Wano. 25 years ago, after Roger completes his journey, Odin returns to Wano. 25 years ago, Kaido takes over Onigashima. 25 years ago, Perona is born. 24 years ago, Moria witnesses Roger's execution. 23 years ago, Moria is defeated by Kaido in Ringo. 23 years ago, Ryuma's body and Shusui are stolen. 20 years ago, Odin dies. 12 years ago, Hogback is recruited to join Moria's crew. Perona and Absalom are present. No time is given for when they join the crew. 12 years ago, Sindri is turned into a zombie. Number 400. Hilton is the lowest numbered zombie we see at 16. I think this is the only zombie that we have a number and a time of creation. Okay. So if we're trying to say that Perona is from Wano also and is connected to Toko, Toko is technically a Shimotsuki, isn't she? Because isn't that what her dad is? Chat, remind me. So, after Roger's execution, a year later, Moria goes back to Wano. Assuming he's already been there. Beaver Card did say that Perona was born in the West Blue, like Moria. So, Perona would have been 2 years old-ish when Moria is defeated by Kaido. I don't know if it would be a thing where Moria gets defeated by Kaido, all of his crew is killed, right? Then he steals Ryuma's body and Shusui, but then also leaves with a 2-year-old Perona. Like, unless Perona was, like, the daughter of one of his close friends, one of his crewmates. I do like it that way. Like, if it's a thing where, if Perona was the daughter of someone, of, like, Moria's right hand, and then he like raised her in place of that. The way that Perona cares for Moria, it does feel like a paternal bond in a way, a little bit. So I could buy that they've been together since they were kids. Could be like a Ulti Page 1 and Kaido situation. Toko was adopted by Yasu. I don't know. There's also a way, like, if Perona and Toko are from, like, the same family line, but split. Like, Toko's family is from Wano, but Perona's family is in whatever Wano town was made in the West Blue. The other thing is, for all we know, right? And this is something that Oda's been doing a lot lately, is connecting what's happening in the cover story to what is immediately happening in the main story. So Oda might be telling us this to show that, like, God Valley is actually, like, there's a town within God Valley that has been set up by people from Wano. So they brought the customs of Wano to God Valley. And there may just be, like, a Kozuki town, a Kozuki part of God Valley. Maybe, you know, and Moria is there. Maybe, well, not Perona, but Moria would be there. He would be, oh, I forget the math. 12? Something? The thing is what I like about Moria being a part of God Valley is, you know, and I mentioned this in a big video I did probably, like, it's over a year ago at this point, maybe close to 2 years ago, whenever the Kuma part of God Valley was coming out. We know that most of the General Zombies are former Rocks Pirates members, so it's like, what is Moria's connection to the Rocks Pirates? Did he idolize them? Was he terrified of them? Was he there at God Valley as a 12-year-old? Did he see them fight? Did he see some of them die? You know, this ties into my idea that, you know, Rocks may have been taken down by his own crew. And those particular members that betray him became the first set of warlords. So then Moria is just collecting corpses of the former warlords that he replaced, John, and so on. Does this at all increase the chances of God Valley being Thriller Bark? I mean, that's been a theory that's been thrown around for a while. I feel like that needs to get explained, but I feel like it's been a theory for so long that Oda would probably be aware of it and want to do something different. Brand said thoughts. The other breakaway town is Oikot, Tokyo backwards. The other former capital of Wano, maybe. I mean, that's interesting. I mean, I'd like to know more about Oikot because that means that we would get more information on Nami. But Ishmael said, favorite thing that came out of this live stream is Perona saving the Wano Smile Village to make them feel sad. That's so One Piece and gratifying. Yeah, I know exactly. Like the happiness that you would feel from being able to feel sad. So One Piece. Yeah, that God Valley Thriller Bark thing's been around for a long time. Yeah, I know Oikot's where Belmir found Nami. That's why I said I would bring more Nami information if we got anything on Oikot. But I would rather there just being a West Blue Wano at this point. And that's where Moria grows up, it's where Perona grows up, whatever. Hopefully there's more context on this in the cover page of next week. I'm actually probably more interested in next week's cover page, funny enough, than the chapter, which is crazy, but I also don't know if that's actually going to give us anything. I think like this is the bomb. Oda wants us to keep talking about it. It would make more sense if the chapter then introduces a young Moria living in the West Blue who is from Wano or something. And then when we come out of the flashback and everything, we'll see Moria in real time before going back to Elbaf, and he'll be joining Cross Guild. Mr. Nine said 1,000 chapters ago, Luffy met Ace in Alabasta. Yep, 158. Ace arrives. 159 is he departs. Do I think that Baby Shamrock's similar appearance to Baby Bonnie confirms that he's Bonnie's dad? I mean, they look like standard One Piece babies to me, but I'm not going to rule that out. I feel like that feels appropriate for the way the story's been going. Did I know that it's been 1,000 chapters since we landed on Elbaf, so no math piece, just crazy to think about? Yep. We talked about it in the last chapter, like, that it was the chapter where the crew met Bon Clay and all that. Well, I think I'm going to start winding down. I'm going to take another look at the chapter here. Anything else anybody's been talking about, please feel free to bring it up, and, you know, we'll get our last thoughts in. I love how Oda made this whole, like, dramatic moment between Rayleigh and Roger and framed it in a way like they're going to talk about something super serious. It's going to be crazy. And it's literally a note just saying, hey, come get me, big guy. I'll be waiting. Other than the first page with the Moria stuff, which we spent a majority of this stream talking about, the Garland stuff leads to the most theorizing, like something to talk about as far as like, what resource God Valley had. Was it an ancient weapon? Is it the sake? Is it, you know, whatever? Is it just that Garling wants to make it an affiliated nation so that his children don't become bastards and he can actually, like, raise them in the Holy Land? We have the rip-off bar where everybody's drinking whiskey with rocks of ice, watering down liquor. And we had for some reason it stopped loading some of the pages. We got confirmation that Blackbeard is born. We don't see the mom. Oda's saving that. Roger turning down Gloriosa again. We got this really great panel of Roger and Rox looking like they're about to fight, but then not seeing that fight, which is the fight I want to see, not Harold versus Rox. I wanted to see this. And Roger has never looked more like Ace, other than this particular panel. And you know, it's just giving Ace versus Blackbeard. It's just giving chapter 440, 441. And Oda skipped it. The implication that they left the island, went out to sea, started fighting, and then Oda was just like, you know what I'm gonna do? Harold versus Rox. And then all of that stuff was whatever. Then we are 1 year from God Valley, and we get the reveal of Shanks and Shamrock and Shanks' mom. Back to chat. Garling engineered the God Valley incident, clearly. Crushnaut said, when I first started watching you like 8 months to a year ago, I remember you thinking One Piece was almost done, like 2 years left. What do you think now? I still think that it could end in 2027. Like, that's what I've said for a long time, is that Oda would try to manipulate it to end around 30 years of publication. And if we get God Valley out of the way here and we're about to fight Emu, it might happen. Like, we still have a good portion of 2025. We would have all of 2026, and then up to August 2027. At this point, now that we're getting God Valley, I'm like, yeah, you know what? Maybe. Ooh, Phil Jenkins said, I like the idea that the love letter is a Weaver card. That way Rayleigh always had a way to Shaggy. I like that. You know, what would be the cool way to reveal that is after she's captured, starts to like burn up a little bit or starts like moving, and then we're like, oh wait, this was a Weaver card the whole time? Aditya said, we can't see Marcus Mars as a Gorosei. Could it be that he's currently Supreme Commander of the God's Knights and will be promoted to Gorosei afterwards? That's why. Marcus Mars is the one that's standing. He's always standing. That's him on the left. I'm more interested in who this is on the right, because I don't think it's Jupiter. I'd be more interested in Jupiter not being one of the five elders right here, and actually became one of the five elders the same way that Garling did. But this guy on the right could be. We were talking about this last week when we saw that, there was one guy that just looked different. And we couldn't pinpoint where Shepard Jupiter was. But that's definitely Marcus Mars above the panel that says a discovery I never expected to make. Which baby do I think is Shanks? The one that's next to the bubble that says Shanks. Brandon King said, I'd say 4 years, so it ends on the 32nd anniversary being San Ni. Maybe. Send in a rose. Randy, why do you think Oda's rushing through things? It's been going on for so long that there's no time for really interesting things like Rocky Port and revealing Zoro's lineage in the main story. Yeah, I'm a little bummed by the Rocky Port thing, always will be. Zoro's lineage being in an SBS is just wild work from Oda. I think he, I think he's ready to retire. Doing this a long time. Roger's in chat. Hey, man. Interested in hearing if you think Moria will physically show up by the end of the cover story? No. Heard a great theory on my stream about Perona potentially curing the remaining smile for victims. Yeah, someone brought that up in this stream, and I really love that also. It's just a beautifully tragic One Piece, I don't think that she could cure them, but I think that she could give them, temporary relief that they could be sad. I think it's more likely, Oda's been doing the thing where, we saw Kuzan and Van Augur kidnapping Perona, and then in the same chapter and next chapter, like in the real chapter, we start seeing things about Perona being with the Blackbeard Pirates, right? So the cover story was informing the main story. Here, I think what would be more likely is either God Valley has some sort of Wano settlement on it, and we'll see 12-year-old Moria on God Valley, or when we come out of the flashback, we won't go immediately back to Elbaf and everything with Emu and all that. Oda will choose to do a Dex of the World, catch everybody up to where everything else is going on, and show us Moria in real time, giving us more context on what this cover story meant as he joins the Cross Guild. But Moria showing up in the cover story would be dumb, because it's a stutter step. Because it's like he just escaped Blackbeard with Perona. He's not going to Wano. He's Perona's gonna say, "I've been hanging out with Mihawk for 2 years. Come with me. We're gonna go there," because Blackbeard's probably already on his way to Wano, or part of his crew is on their way to Wano. So he just escaped Blackbeard. He's not gonna go someplace where he's gonna get kidnapped by Blackbeard again. So that's how I feel about it. If he does show up, I'm just gonna be like, so what are we doing here? So that's how I feel about it. What do you think, Raj? Seal Vlad on Avicii's super and said, "What if Garling discovered baby Teach at God Valley? Whole hunt is a trap to catch him.
Savage.
Blackbeard doesn't sleep because of that day's trauma. Imagine a baby Blackbeard crying for days on end on a lone raft, all defenseless." I can't imagine a baby being alone on a raft without dying. What would be special about baby Teach that Garling would be interested in? And why would baby Teach be at God Valley when Rox just admitted that he just had a kid? Like, I mean, I buy that he had the kid not on God Valley, similar to Garling having Shanks. Like, you know, there's a possibility that Blackbeard and whatever woman he had this child with is not on Hachinosu. But I'm a little... I don't know. I think we would need more context on why Blackbeard's body is different and all that kind of stuff to understand that Garling is like after him specifically. Roger said, "Extremely good answer. I wouldn't mind it since I just want the Yamato cover story to amount to literally anything else of note. Sending love to you and the family this Sunday. Thank you. And to you and Reagan as well, man. We got to get together soon." And yeah, the Yamato cover story, I'm ready for it to end. I've been waiting for it to like get to a point where I think it's going to end with like Blackbeard pirate members showing up to the island looking for Pluton. And then this is all just like fluff getting there. But this is the first thing that's actually like made me want to talk about it in the first place. And I spent like probably 20 minutes at the beginning of the stream before I even got to the page 1 of the chapter talking about all of this. Spartan Gibble's counterpoint: Moria goes to Wano to defend it from Blackbeard specifically. Since he was raised in Ringo, he could be seen as a great hero returning home. So that's interesting. If he knew that they were going to go to Wano, and then if it was framed in the perspective of like Moria defended Ringu from Kaido to protect his homeland, if he goes back there because he knows his homeland's going to be attacked, then I'm kind of interested. But the other thing too is why would he go alone? And I don't want that in a cover story, you know, because at that point, you know, then I want Moria in the main story to be defending Wano from Blackbeard, right, alongside Yamato, and then putting souls of everybody from Wano into the graves that are in Ringu, and then now all of these samurai zombies are like fighting Blackbeard. Like, then that's cool. Is that gonna happen? I don't know. Crush Not said, "Crushing it as always, Randy. Like D-Stream, everyone."
Come with me if you want to live.
Appreciate you, Crush. Blizzard said, "I think Devon goes to Fishman Island as Saturn to steal Shirahoshi." But why would they need to be Saturn to steal Shirahoshi? feel like they could just be Devon and steal Shirahoshi. Like, the Saturn thing is only cool to me if they go to the Holy Land and start pretending to be Saturn, but it's not publicly known that Saturn was murdered by Emu, so the moment they see Saturn, they're just like, huh? You're definitely an imposter, and then they kill Devon. Didia said, I mean, he could be there with Crossguild. See, now that I like, right? Then we get a flashback. Moria has already joined Crossguild. He has told him the information that Blackbeard already knows where Pluton is, although, you know, plot hole there, because I like the idea of him not knowing where it is until Caribou tells him, and Caribou has not told him yet before Moria has left. But it is fun if Crocodile, whose entire character is about, you know, in the beginning of his story is about finding an ancient weapon, if Moria does know that Pluton is in Wano and decides to tell Crocodile, and then Crossguild is going there at the same time that Blackbeard is going there, and now it's Crossguild versus the Blackbeard Pirates for Pluton on Wano, I'm in. Because I always said, like, the exciting thing, the thing that nobody's going to expect, is everybody's expecting Blackbeard to go and, like, unearth Pluton, right? But the unexpected thing is Crocodile goes there. Because most people that are reading, not everybody in this chat, but most people have forgotten that Crocodile's whole thing is, I need ancient weapons. The only thing that bothers me about all of that is Crossguild would lose, though, because Blackbeard can't lose. And I don't want that to happen either. But it would be one of the, like, it would probably become my favorite part of the story. Watching the Crossguild go against the Blackbeard Pirates on Wano. Buggy knows Momo. I don't know. That's a lot of fun, though. Descended in a row said, I want Blackbeard using the Quake fruit to crumble the wall on Wano, Croc slipping through the cracks in sand to beat Blackbeard to the Pluton. I like the idea of Croc beating him to it. But I think it's more... I think the Blackbeard breaking it with his power is cooler. But I think if you set up that Avalo Pizarro has the ability to fuse with an island, I think it's a wasted opportunity if Avalo Pizarro doesn't fuse with Wano and then find out exactly where Pluton is, because he becomes Wano and then knows, like, oh yeah, it's underground, I found it. I just want Crocodile back. Like, that's what I want. I've been seeing a lot of stuff in chat, like, yeah, let's make, like, Perona relevant again, bring her back into the story. I mean, by way of joining Crossguild, she would be. But I just need my goat back. And I love we're talking about Crossguild while I'm wearing my Crossguild shirt. There's been so much Crossguild talk today. I don't know, I like that all of this happening while everybody's on Elbaf. Like, I feel like it all makes sense and brings us closer to the end. but it also just like adds relevance to the Cross Guild, which they desperately need. And I don't want just one chapter of it. Like, I want multiple chapters where the Cross Guild is just the main character of the story. I love the idea, like, the best case scenario, right, to keep everybody great, is all of this stuff that we're talking about happens on Wano, which is really cool. The Cross Guild, Moria's already a part of them. You have Verona, you got Mihawk, you have Crocodile, you got Buggy reunion with Momonosuke. Maybe Yamato joins Cross Guild. You know, it's better than joining the Straw Hats, in my opinion. Helps the Cross Guild defend Wano from Blackbeard, right? So with Blackbeard's help, Pluton gets unearthed, but the Cross Guild gets it, and they actually push Blackbeard out. Maybe Blackbeard's not actually there, it's just Pizarro and a bunch of schmoes. Then I buy it, because if Blackbeard's there, then I'm a little worried. But Blackbeard gets Shirahoshi. So, and then this whole fight on Elbaf, maybe it's about Uranus. So the Cross Guild ends up with an ancient weapon. Blackbeard ends up with an ancient weapon that Luffy will eventually like take from Blackbeard because it's Shirahoshi. She's gonna work with Luffy. But I just want Crocodile, whose character was all about finding Pluton, to be the one that finds Pluton and gets Pluton. So it's just like, it just happens. And matter of fact, like, let's say, I feel like that's a little too far from now. I don't know, I was gonna say 1,000 chapters from Pluton's mention, which is probably chapter 190 or something. Yeah, it's a bit far. But maybe something with Pluton happens 1,000 chapters from Pluton's mention. We'll see. Sparring Gibble said, wait, Yamato has read Odin's logbook. She would have read about Buggy and could recognize him and want to join someone who sailed with Odin. See, that's hilarious. Am I still in the camp that Doflamingo joins too? I think that there's a lot of like logic leaps to get a bunch of the warlords together, but I think the point of the Cross Guild will ultimately be to get all of the original warlords in some way like involved with the Cross Guild. Potentially even Hancock, but that's like the biggest leap of all. Obviously Jinbei won't be there, but in Chapter 0, you have a panel of Crocodile, Buggy, Mihawk, Moria, and Doflamingo all in a line watching the execution, and I think that it's a cool thing, and it's mostly agenda, but I think it's a cool thing if all 5 of those people become part of the Cross Guild. Next chapter prediction or hopes. A focus on God Valley and what normal daily life is introduction, you know, Oda box for Shanks' mom. Get to know most of these people that are probably going to get killed during the God Valley incident. You know, like, let's humanize them a little bit, spend some time with them. Shaki's got to get kidnapped. What's that going to amount to? Be nice if it happens in the next chapter so we can just, like, keep moving forward, get to the God Valley stuff. And if this Moria stuff is supposed to tie into the main narrative, maybe we see a 12-year-old Moria. But that's not a firm prediction. That's just like a throw it up the wall, see if it sticks. How does this all tie back to Harold, though? He probably will be at God Valley. Like, it's probably going to be a thing where the government, like, orders him to play a role in there and defend the world government from rocks. And Harold is part of the reason Rox dies or something. I don't know. But it is a great question. How does it all tie back to Harold? And the way that it's all going, it's like, I don't know. And the Harold parts are the most boring parts of all of this. Like, I'm way more interested in everything else. Anyone else feel like the Loki juice joke was a callback? That's absolutely what it was, and that's what it was meant to be. And I even, like, when I read that part, like, I read it in a way to try and force the callback. Yeah, there is a drawing of Oda, that Oda did of Moria as a kid. James said we will be here for multiple weeks if Cross goes. Alright, guys. We were winding down and then we hit a new stride and started talking about some new and cool stuff. Any last things anybody wants to throw out? Otherwise, I'm going to wrap this up and I'll see everybody for 11:59 next Sunday. Shout out to everybody in here. Shout out to everybody that came through. Um, yeah, I don't see a world where we don't get all of God Valley here. Like, at this point, there's no point in hiding it. Saeed said Moria's confrontation with Katarina Devon brings a whole new meaning to her epithet of Crescent Moon Hunter, or young moon hunter if Moria is actually a Koski. Yeah, Oda knew what he was doing. And that's a cool thing to point out. I like that. Alright guys. That's gonna oh wait. We gotta get some supers from Vasile. One of two, we know that following Zebek's death, Elbaf didn't join the world government. I believe that the world government will move the goalposts again and again, demanding more, of course. And Harold will accept throughout the years, until they demand what they demand is their devil fruit, at which point the soldiers mutiny and kill him. Well, I mean, we know that that is like their ultimate goal. That fruit has evaded them for 800 years, but I feel like they should know that it's there. So that also makes it like a little weird that, you know, that they should actually just be like, yeah, join the world government, but you're gonna have to, you know, give us all these things, blah blah blah. Like, they should be, I don't know, I feel like the world government's being dumb about it. They should be giving Harold what he wants so that they can get what they want, you know? But I don't know. You got Rayleigh running away from Shaki, so not everybody's smart in this world. But moving the goalposts again and again, like, yeah, I mean, that just feels like exactly what's been going on with this whole situation. And it's sad. And ultimately, it kills him. Surely Oda will find more stuff to hide. Always. Blazer said, I don't think Ray wants to see Roger upset about Shaki. Yeah. That's why he waits until Roger's dead. Bros first. Alright. That's it, guys. I will see you guys next week. Appreciate you all. That's it. Thanks again, everybody. Great stream. Really weird reveals that do make sense, even if other people don't think so. You just need them to make more sense, more clarification.
I've been swimming deep, deep. Savage.